Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the 8th installment of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, The ISIS Papers, The Keys to the Colors. All right, and we are back. Going to wait on my homie, Blazenton the Third, should be chiming in soon. We are going to chop it up on the essay number 8, entitled Guns as Symbols, 1975 through 1977. That starts on page 103. That is the ISIS Papers, The Keys to the Colors. All right, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Yeah, I share to the Grandcestor. All right. We're going to wait for my homie to chime in. Blazenton the Third, coming at you quick.
Doug, what's good? Doug.
Yo, what's going on, brother?
Just chilling, man. What's cracking with you?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. You already know it.
Mm-hmm.
Hanging in there. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm ready. Seems like we burning the midnight oil tonight.
Mm-hmm. Full kill.
Oh man, all right. So, want to get the people a little update? What's been going on with you in your world?
You know, man, just grinding it out, man. Had a little business meeting today, man. Somebody had reached out to me about possibly kind of partnering with them. They basically doing a lot of the same things I'm doing as far as like financial literacy, teaching and stuff like that. But they kind of got it going a step further. They got some like different licenses and credentials stuff behind them, so now they're able to kind of position themselves to kind of get a little bit more bread on some other avenues with insurances and different stuff like that. So just kind of open my eyes up to some stuff that I could be getting into. It was good though, because I'm kind of figuring out how I want to, like, what niche market I want to kind of dive into.
I like that.
What about you, brother?
It's been kind of slow motion for me. I've been reading, so I just, so I've been reading this book, right, with Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, but then it kind of fascinated me, like, with some of the people that she was bringing up, and it kind of made me think about, I didn't really know about certain people that she brought up. So I just finished this other book called Fred Jerome's and Roger Taylor's Einstein's on Race and Racism. So I got to learn a little bit about Einstein, like some stuff I never knew, and how he was like he was close to Paul Robeson. Do you know who that is? Have you heard of that dude?
Yeah, I've heard of Paul Robeson.
Yeah. So it's like I didn't know that, like, I never knew that he was like a Jew. I never knew that he was, down with black people to a certain extent. Like I felt like that history has been suppressed. So,
oh yeah,
I don't know, but yeah. So I'm just spawning off, and I'm trying to read other things. So, been doing that.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, good stuff, man.
Yeah. You done twisted up and everything. You good, or you done already did all that for the evening?
Yeah, I done did all that.
Got it. All right. Well, then maybe you could springboard us into this evening's installment, just because I need to do that right now. So, maybe you could take the lead, and I'm listening. How about that?
Okay, so right now we're in chapter 8, starting on page 103, Guns as Symbols. We've already had a one of our previous chapters where we kind of discussed just symbols overall and just kind of how to decode them. But this one's talking about a specific symbol, which, I mean, when you think about guns and, you know, just our country specifically, it's always been a hot topic, you know, as far as gun control and gun laws. And, you know, we've seen a lot of the discrepancies, at least here now with, I would say, how the gun culture is amongst different races of people, specifically whites and blacks. You know, whites, it's like it's a part of their culture, how they teach their kids about guns, they own guns young, they hunt, and things of that nature. And then for blacks, and right now I'm just kind of speaking from a, I just say a stereotypical standpoint, as far as if you were kind of on the outside looking in. And then with blacks, for us, I think some black families have a gun culture, but I don't think overall it's a part of our culture from that standpoint, like a traditional family type thing. I think with us, guns are more synonymous with violence and gangs and that type of thing, the negative connotations that guns bring. But after reading this particular chapter, I think she definitely kind of helped to kind of connect some dots and clarify some of that stuff as it relates to kind of why that might be. So to kind of get things started off here, I'll just start by reading the first paragraph where it says, Anthony Sampson, in his book, The Arms Bazaar, From Lebanon to Lockheed, 1977, informs us that the word weapon was, until the 14th century, synonymous with penis. So I've heard of a penis being kind of referred to as a weapon. I thought about, you know, rest in peace, R.I.P. John Witherspoon, you know, going bang, 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 his love, you know, going bang, bang, bang. It's always kind of been used somewhat as a, kind of like referred to as a weapon. But as we've talked about in the past, you know, white people, and wanting to be like us, to be close to our culture and things that we're connected with, it kind of made a lot of sense as to why they have such a fascination with guns, just overall. So I kind of had that part highlighted. Just I thought that was like a good starting point, just to say that for a long time that weapons, you know, were synonymous with the penis.
Yeah. But also, you know, so made me think about words, just how, just wordplay, man, just, you know, just, you would never know that is what I mean. Etymology, you know, just going back on the history of words, just certain things that we say on a daily basis and not understanding the origin of them. We just throw them out there, just like loose terms. So that kind of fascinated me. Do want to give a shout out to the book recommendation, because she started it off with the quote from the book, and it just that little quote that little insert, I'm kind of interested. I might like go check that out. I ain't saying, you know, I'm running it to go get it because it ain't on the top of my book list, but you know, why not? Why not go see? You know, check that source out, that reference. So you know, I don't know, because that seems pretty fascinating to me. Like if you got that from that book, what else is in that book? That's where my mind went.
Right now, that's good stuff. That's good stuff right there, man. Hold on, brother. I gotta take a quick pause here. You can keep talking. I gotta get with my daughter real quick.
Okay. Dang, no problem. I'm just crumbling herb. That's it. Nothing major. Pause for the call. I hope they can't hear my dog. My dog been barking like crazy in the fucking background. I hope y'all can't hear that. Because she downstairs, so it's like it would be hard for me to kind of tell her to shut up, but I can hear her up here. I just hope y'all can't hear. I hope it ain't bleeding through, you know. But yeah, man, we're just trying to put in some work tonight, man. The title of this chapter was Guns and Symbols or something like that, I think. Let me make sure. It was, Guns as Symbols. Which is the truth to a certain extent. So we're gonna dive into that like real soon. But we'll see. We'll see. Y'all gonna give me 1 second. I'm finna have to go shut this dog up because like she is acting like so stupid and it ain't nothing outside. She just going off for no reason right now. I'm trying to twist up. Give me a second. All right, we coming, bro. We coming. I usually have like 3 twisted up, but rail don't really roll up that good. So I had to twist up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, all my 80s babies, all my Wheezy F guys, they know where that come from. They gotta know where that come from, straight up. Rail don't really roll up that good, you know what I'm saying? Had to roll up on them.
All right, dog, I'm back.
Okay, let me shut my dog up real quick. Cause she, like, did you hear the dog barking when you was talking?
No, I can't say that I did.
Okay. You need to relax. Just going off for no damn reason. All right, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right, bet.
All right.
Yeah, I had quite a few questions in this chapter. I didn't really have anything highlighted till I feel like, let me see. I ain't had nothing highlighted till about like 110.
Okay. All right.
110?
So then maybe I got a couple of things before that, so maybe I can just kind of touch on a couple of these. Let's see. That might have been noteworthy. Okay, so right here, just quickly on 104, she brings in the Native Americans, and she talks about them, and I also heard this recently kind of because there's been a lot of, talks about the Washington Redskins and that nickname. I don't know if you've been following this story, but they're finally getting ready to change the nickname because based on history that I just kind of recently heard laid out, the term Redskins is a very derogatory term. And for a long time, there's been a lot of Native Americans who wanted the Redskins to change that name, but they never have. And now here recently, a lot of the big sponsors to the Redskins, when the money got involved, FedEx and Pepsi and Nike and Amazon, just to name a few, who was like, look, if y'all don't change the name, we're gonna take our funding from you. It happened like quickly, so they haven't announced a name change yet. Well, the specific name change, but they have announced that they're going to change the nickname. So I brought that up because here in the book on page 104, she says, while recognizing along with Mr. Kraft the predominant use of guns in the American frontier days, I strongly disagree that guns were needed for survival in the simple terms of the continuation of life. After all, the Native Americans taught the Europeans how to grow corn to feed themselves and survive. Guns were needed, however, if Native or non-white Americans were going to be removed successfully from the land that the European or the whites wished to dominate and control. So I brought it up because I think that was just kind of somewhat noteworthy. We talked about a while back how with the, white people, as they were essentially genetically deficient, they were mutants who were exiled out of Africa. They went on to essentially create their own civilizations elsewhere. And then when they came back to pillage and rummage and take, guns were, at some point they were like a big. It helped them. I would say like it was a big turning point in terms of them overtaking the land and overtaking the people in some instances where they may not have been. Even like now today, they're not the numerical minority, but because of those guns, it has provided them a way to conquer and pillage and take and destroy and create the system as it's currently kind of constructed. What you think about that?
Well, okay, if you're going to say all that, and if that's true, because I damn near agree with you, but I'm just saying, if that is true, then would the gun be the great equalizer? Meaning that if they didn't have the gun to take over to like with brute force, would the outcome in history be the same? Because we were already used to like defending ourselves and hunting and doing everything we needed to do without the gunpowder. So we had the might, we had the physical ability, the virility to be to defend ourselves and not being overthrown. But when you have this magic powder, this gunpowder that comes through that they never even seen before, and people like being killed and just like blown up right in front of their eyes with everything, would things be a little different? Would things be like if that's true, that's where I go with it. I'm going a little too deep.
Yeah. No. I think they would be totally different because I believe that because it says here she mentioned, which we all kind of know, we were kind of taught this growing up with the Indians and the Pilgrims and all that. And she mentioned, Dr. Francis mentions it here that they initially taught white people. They blessed them with some value, some information. So there was already like a compassionate type spirit there. We really want to just show y'all love. So I feel like in the process of that, I feel like white people, just like they still can see to this day, they saw that power. They saw their inability, both consciously and subconsciously, their inability to be able to physically just dominate us. So I feel like they knew they had to create something that would assist them to get the job done because they knew they couldn't just take it by force. They couldn't do it. They didn't have enough manpower, and they didn't have enough physical strength and ability. That's just kind of what I personally believe. So I think that the gun was like damn near something that they had to figure out to create to help them do what they needed to get done. So I think it would be totally different, to be honest with you.
Right. And when I was reading that, my mind went to like, damn, but I can only imagine just being back there in that time, right, where this is how I see things. When you are born into this world, like whatever your environment is, that's just what you know. So you grow to understand that as normalcy, like that's the norm. Meaning, however we defend ourselves, however we eat, however we hunt, whatever I gotta do, I do it the way I know how to do it, and that's the normal way of doing things. Now, all of a sudden, people come who don't look anything like me, and now they have these machines that I've never seen before, and they spit a fiery substance that will like decimate, like destroy a person, like right in front of me. And I've never seen this a day in my life. Now I know when people come to attack me, I know how to defend myself. Now he shoots that gun for the very first time. And I see all that fire. I see all that, and I see what it does, the carnage it leaves, what it does to a person. Could you just, I don't know what I would do. Like, I might really honestly just be frozen in fear. Not because someone just died, but because of the way they died. Bro, I ain't never seen nothing like this a day in my life. What the fuck is that? So I could honestly, just the psyche, mentally, be already defeated by one person with a gun, and it could be 100 of us. Because I know 100 of us in numbers could take this one person that I'm looking at right now. But I ain't never seen that weapon. I ain't never seen that machine before. And I just seen what it did to my fucking cousin. Blew his fucking face off right in front of me, nigga. Like, what? Man, please. That's where my mind went. That's where my mind went when I read that shit.
No, that's a good point. And I feel like that kind of plays into just with the lynching and all the other stuff. It's like we see it. It's so graphic. It's so gory. It's so detailed that, like you say, it does set off this sense of shock and this sense of fear, which is what they ultimately want, because now we're totally blinded and we're totally forgetful of the fact that, wait a second, you do realize it's way more than y'all out here than them, right? You do realize just one, like you said, it's just one of them with the gun. You could just take the bit out of his hand, and then y'all could just kill him, but you're not thinking those things when you, like you say, when you see what you see. So, like, we've seen pictures of lynchings and hangings and stuff like that. We've seen this stuff. It's like when you see it, the first thing you think about is like, damn, like the fear. You think about, those negative feelings that you get, but you don't actually think about the strength that you have to potentially overcome that. Because I think, again, how white people have operated and how they've set up this system. They've set up this system for us to be fearful and for us to think less of ourselves and to feel inferior, so that we won't just do the obvious thing what everybody knows but us can be done. We could just overpower their ass, but we just mentally, we're just not in a position to do that. You know what I'm saying? Physically we could, but mentally we're just not. And I think that's just one of their tactics, is fear. You know what I'm saying? Because, I know you know about the Willie Lynch letter.
To a certain extent. Not really, though. You want to maybe school the people if you know a little bit on it? Because I know enough, but I'm a little hazy.
Right, I'm not 1,000% all the way there with the Willie Lynch letter, but one of the things that I remember about the letter was the fact that it was like a fear-based thing that ultimately got to the psyche of the black people. You know what I'm saying? Like how we're going to, amongst other things, how we're going to take the man in front of his wife and take the families in front of each other, and we're going to kill them, or we're going to rape the wife in front of the husband. The whole thing was about just like breaking the mental will of black people so that now we can control them. You know what I'm saying? And the big tactic was fear. We're going to make them fear us and fear this. And then Willie Lynch was a slave owner who then now he took that premise, which I believe this is like some sort of like a legend. Like, it's like, I don't know if it's really true or not, but it kind of make a lot of sense. And Willie Lynch was supposedly this guy who then took those fear tactics and he spread that word out amongst other slave owners. So that kind of became, he was almost like the lightning rod, the guy who kind of essentially spread that theology amongst the slave owners. You know what I'm saying? That fear-based tactic. You know what I'm saying? In terms of being able to psychologically control black people if you do these type of things, and it was like outlined in this letter. You know what I'm saying? You can definitely go look at the letter. You can Google it and look it up. You know what I'm saying? It got kind of get a few more details. But it's the Willie Lynch letter. But like I said, that fear thing was one of the things that I kind of remember about that.
Sounds like they messing with black people's psyche or the brain computer. Like,
for sure.
If I can get into your mind, I ain't really even gotta control you no more, because you gonna kind of self-regulate. You gonna kind of control yourself. Y'all gonna kind of keep, well, we gonna kind of keep the system going, because we're doing things that's gonna perpetuate a favorable outcome for the system. Because if you knew better, then you probably would do better. You probably wouldn't do some of the things you're doing. So, yeah, I can see that, Mind control, Debo. You know what I'm saying? They got mind control over people, man.
Yep. It's real. It's real, man.
Okay. Well, for me, because I'm like I say, I don't crank up really till 110.
Okay, so
but yeah.
We was talking about the guns and stuff, and then I think she definitely laid it out beautifully right here at the bottom of 106 going into 107, and she kind of kind of adds like a kind of crosses the T and dots the I for us when we was kind of talking about the whole guns and the weapon symbolism and all that. She says, indeed, if the understood threat to white genetic survival was the black male's genital apparatus, consciously or unconsciously, the white psyche would be compelled to produce a weapon of defense of comparable or greater power than that of the black male's penis and testicles. So I think that kind of describes like where she was going with that, in my opinion. You know, basically because again, she speaks about that white people's fear of genetically being annihilated and them basically doing most of what they do, if not everything, what they do based out of that fear. So what she's kind of saying here is that gun, it just became such a great symbol and such a great thing for them because subconsciously and or consciously it symbolizes something that is similar to, in terms of what it looked like and what it symbolizes the black phallic symbol, the black penis. But because they know that the black male genitals is the very thing that's going to lead to that annihilation, like she's saying, they needed to create something that could destroy it, which we could even liken that to what we're still currently seeing with, you know, us going down at the hands of white people with guns.
Yeah, weaknesses and inadequacies. Like they created this technology. That's what she talked about in the chapter as well. So she talked about the weapon of defense, you know, comparable, you know, to the black male's penis and testicles. So I get it. I just wonder, like, when a person created this gun, like, was that really in their mind? Because, like, if you know, we gonna slide to the diagram, and you see it, like you see the gun, and then now you see how she's talking about the male genitalia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just gonna speak it plain. Is it a reach, or is it accurate, like in what she's describing? Now, I tend to lean towards it's accurate in what she's describing, but a part of me still feels like it's a reach. I don't know. So I'm asking, like, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I feel like I was on the fence, but I'm feeling like I'm a little more on the side of she's not reaching with this. Just because I think back to the definition, or not the definition, but the example I gave about when I first started rapping and writing my own rhymes. I didn't know where my influence came from. It didn't dawn on me until years later after I had recorded a bunch of stuff and people started kind of pointing out certain cadences and they started pointing out certain things within my music and telling me, man, you sound like Snoop. And so when I thought about it, I was like, well, the Snoop Doggy Style album was the actual first album that I religiously listened to that was a rap album that I pretty much knew down there every word to every song. So now subconsciously, and that was probably, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 years before I ever started writing rhymes. But when I started writing rhymes, I just subconsciously at that point, I didn't say consciously, oh, I'm going to rap like Snoop. It was just a subconscious thought of, as I'm writing rhymes, this is kind of how it came out. And as I'm spitting them on the mic, this kind of how it's coming out. And then, like I said, years later after that, it's like, oh, damn, Snoop probably did have some sort of an influence. So my point is, I think it's very possible for people when they're in a position to create or do whatever they're doing to, like, where did the influence come from? It came from somewhere, because very rarely do people actually just out of the blue just create shit. Like, even if you don't know where you got it from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I see where you could say, because I was definitely on the fence too, like, damn, she probably reaching. But at the same time, I don't think she is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not all the way on the side that she's not reaching, but I'm leaning more to that side. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the stuff she's saying and how she outlining it, I mean, it makes sense.
Right. And she talked about Colonel Colt 45. You know what I'm saying? How he created the revolver. I mean, don't know if you remember that or not. That came up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
White man with them westerns and shit. Okay. Well, I crank up on 110 because that's after the diagram. I had something in the brackets on the top of 110. So the title of this is Guns as Symbols. And then when I read this paragraph, I was like, I felt like she defined it. Like the title is defined in this paragraph. So now that I said that, let's see if it's accurate. Okay. From the above 4 drawings, it is clear that the gun, in its essential shape and functioning, is the exact counterpart to the functioning genital apparatus and to the erect penis that is ejaculating. In other words, the handle and the chamber are analogous to the testicles. The barrel of the gun is analogous to the penis. The bullets are the sperm contained in the ejaculate with their genetic material. In the white psyche, white genetic annihilation by blacks or other non-whites is experienced as the destruction of life by the black genital apparatus. The firing gun in function achieves for the whites the destruction of the lives of blacks and other non-white peoples. So, that's like when I read it, I was like, okay. When you say the gun is the symbol, she really broke down like vividly each component of the gun in comparison to the male genital apparatus. And it kind of was a little more clear to me. I saw the diagram and I understand what she was saying, but the way she used the words to, as descriptors, I was like, yeah, I get it. That kind of helped me a little bit. And then as we kept reading, she started showing examples of it, which I was like, okay, I'm really kind of gelling with you. I'm kind of jiving with what you're saying on this right now. You're kind of bringing it home for me. So I just wanted to point that little section out.
No, that's good. I thought that was good too. And then especially as she was talking about when she actually mentioned the bullets as well, are the sperm contained in the ejaculate with their genetic material.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was good.
Yeah, because what's the function? Like, what is the bullet for? Like, it's going to kill. And then she even kind of went into saying the shape of the bullet is somewhat similar to the shape of the semen or the sperm under the microscope. So I was like, damn, like it did. So that's why I started thinking, like, man, so did the person who was creating this shit, like who made it initially the first time, was that their real influence or was it something else? Because damn, that just seems so intricate. Like you went through all that detail. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, let me throw this out there too. I mean, we got to also remember that, and you said this before too, we brought them civilization. So everything that they know, that they thought they know, that they're going to know, they watched us, they studied us, they watched us some more, they studied us, then they came and raped and pillaged and took from us, remixed it, and sold it back to us. So everything that they know is us. Everything. They done damn near, they done downloaded us 1,000,000 times. And still to this day can't figure out some stuff about us. So I feel like, shit, we are both consciously and subconsciously all over everything that when you think about white people and what they like and what they do or what people think they built and created, like anything you can name about white people, we are just involved in that in some type of capacity. So it's damn near not far-fetched to think that we damn near ain't did everything that they think they doing right now. Everything, we're a part of it to some degree.
Okay. That's true.
Without us, they wouldn't be no them, and they wouldn't have that.
That's true. That's true.
Really.
I agree, man. I agree with all that shit. All that shit true. But what if I hit you with this? So you kept saying, how they know, how we know, how they know, we know. Cool. But to know, I feel like it's just the beginning of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's part of it. To know is to, and you seeking that to find the understanding or just to know. This might get me in trouble, but I'm going to say this. Fuck that. So what if I said this? To know, like knowledge, how can I say it? It's pretty much white. I'm going to try to connect this. I'm going to try to bring this home. Just follow me on this. All right. So to know is to be white in a sense. I know we talked about to be white is to be racist, but also to know is to seek the knowledge and find the knowledge, and that's synonymous with being white. And I'm gonna say that because I think that they put a higher value on the knowledge and seeking of knowledge, and all of that knowledge that they're trying to seek and find is to wage war against us. Like everything that they're trying to figure out, they'll study the most minute grain of sand, and we like, why would you even want to do that? And they like, so I can figure everything else about it. You know what I'm saying? To what? Keep my foot on your fucking neck. I can never let you get any footing whatsoever. So I have to constantly seek and know. And I know way more about you than you know about yourself. And I got all that shit hidden. And then also on the other side, that's why I say it to know is to be white, is because now I think that individually, black people, we seek the knowledge. But as a collective, as a whole, and this is my limited experience. I got to stress this. So this is my limited experience. But I don't think that we put a high value on knowing and seeking knowledge. Like we take what's given to us and we follow our beliefs, but we don't really seek the knowledge and ask the questions, be inquisitive, and want to know. That's not a black thing, I would think. What do you think of that?
No, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But again, we got to go back and look at the way the system was kind of designed from as far back as I can remember, because it used to be a crime for black people to even know how to read and write. You had to damn near risk dying to even learn how to read and write. You know what I'm saying?
Because of a racist system, because of a system that's racist. Right. Mm-hmm. That's another way of them knowing, finding out a way to suppress information against us. But they figured it out before we did, and they implemented that, and we had to follow it. What kind of shit is that?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It still go back to them. I'm not trying to just blame it, but it's just like it circles back to how was that system put in place? Like how did that happen? Did they outsmart us in some kind of way? Did they figure something out that we didn't know? I'm asking questions. I don't know. I'm just saying, you know.
I think it got something to do with just going back to some of the teachers of Dr. Claude Anderson, just like in the beginning, or maybe not the beginning, but basically when all of the resources were getting distributed and they were up for grabs, basically, they had deals after they had them pillaged and took every damn thing. It's like, okay, now as the people that's controlling literally all of the damn resources, is like now you get to make the rules. If you hold the board and all the pieces and all the cards, you get to make the rules.
And get to tell the history. Yep.
Yeah. Everything.
Right.
Every damn thing.
Well, let's do a little sidebar then. People enjoy this. What's your take on guns? I'm gonna tell mine, but I'm just throwing it out there. As you as a black male in our society, especially in today's climate, what's your take on ownership of guns?
Well, at this point today, as we speak, I think it's damn near mandatory. As a black person, you damn near gotta like legally be in position to be able to tote fire. You know what I'm saying? I know for me, I've never really, we have friends, close friends who, been gun advocates and they carry and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I just never really been into guns. You know what I'm saying? But like now that I'm married and got kids and I see the way things going now, it's like that's one of the next things I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be getting certified to get me some fire just so I can have some. Because I really, honestly, I don't really know how things finna go at this point. But I feel like everybody need to be black people. We need to legally be strapped just in case this shit go to hell and a big gotta, big purging in the streets, big gotta have some fire. Straight up. Like, 'cause it might fuck around and come to that. You know what I'm saying? Some real, like, Armageddon type shit. Where it's a shortage on shit and bitches out trying to, you know what I'm saying? And, bruh, you got a wife at the crib, too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bruh, you never know. I just, at this point, me and my wife, we've been talking about it. We finna get some fire in the house.
Right. Yeah, she's certified. I know that, right?
I don't think she ain't got no license in that, but she definitely through the military, but she's not active duty anymore, so I don't know how all that worked. But she definitely she was in them and all that.
Yeah, I meant with accuracy and shit. Like she probably better than you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah, that was mandatory. They were shooting all type of shit when she was in the military for sure.
Right. Okay, so my take on it is I have nothing against guns, you know what I'm saying, at all. I've never found a use for one. That's my thing. I've never found a use for one. And like I'll go to the gun range and and shoot. I enjoy that. Even with the skeet shooting, going out there, we enjoy that, me and my lady. But never just found a use for one, I maybe that's just naive of me, I live my life. I try to live my life righteously, just mind my own. But I might be a victim out here. Who knows? Somebody might even run. I have no idea, man. But I've never found a use for one. But I'm not against getting one. So I do see in the future, soon, possibly, me and my lady going to actually get certified and getting us a gun, because we don't have anything against it. It's just we never saw like, man, we got to hurry up and go get a gun. It's like, yeah, we'll get one, that type of shit. So, I don't know. But then I have, like you say, I have friends who look at me like, bro, what is wrong with you, man? Like, you tripping, bro. You slipping out here. You food. Sweet duck, So, I don't know. But maybe they feel the urgency, they feel the need. I just haven't. So that's my take.
Right. No, that's good. Ain't nothing wrong with it. With it.
Mhm. I think it's a good. I think I will say this: it's a good date. I don't know if you ever been on a date at the gun range, but they be having ladies' night and everything, bro. That shit be cool. Like that get the adrenaline going and everything.
Been to a range. I've always kind of been like more backyard type, you know what I'm saying, country type stuff, like with shooting. I ain't never actually been to like an actual range and shot.
Mhm. They got one out there in California that I want to go to. It's an all black gun range. I've yet to find one in Florida, but I think it's Redstone or something, Redstone Firearms or something red. I know it's red. It might be Redstone, but anyways, it's an all black firing company out there in California, and I follow them on one of the social media sites. They official. They official. And I would feel very comfortable like going, and they got the outside stuff, they got the inside stuff, man. They got all the latest and greatest gadgets and stuff. I'm like, man, this nice, and it's all black people who look like us, man, just regular Joe Schmo, nothing fancy, girls, guys, everybody out there. They even got the young people out there, man. I'm like, man, that's nice. I would love to get something in our little area, man, in Florida like that, but I haven't found anything yet. So
right.
That's not really our culture, though. Like if you want to, throw that out there, that's never really been us. You said that earlier. That's kind of their stuff. If you want to bring it back to the book on 110, I think she talks about that. I got a little highlighted little section. Let me see. It says the gun became not only the weapon, the developed technology to ensure white genetic survival, but it also became the symbolic white penis. Thus, it is no accident that white males often refer to one another as son of a gun. This is a symbolically determined pattern of speech, and I am certain that white males who use it have not understood it in depth, why such a phrase entered and remains in their brain computers. This phrase, deprecates. There we go. I stumbled on that one. All right. This phrase deprecates the white male genital apparatus that fathers white people with their genetically deficient state of albinism. It says instead that the white male prefers the gun to his phallus and the phallus of his father. The gun then becomes the desired all-powerful phallus of the white male, which he conceives of as being an equalizer to the phallus of black and other non-white males. So I think that's kind of talking, just really explaining how gun culture is white culture. You know?
Yep.
Okay.
It is. It really is.
Then she kind of.
My parents didn't have no guns and nothing like that.
Right. Yeah. And I didn't even realize guns was like a thing until I kind of got into high school. And, for white people, that was normal. Like for us, at least for what I know, it wasn't so normal. Like to see a gun, it depends on your environment, but for the most part, that just wasn't prevalent. Like you weren't seeing just guns like just everywhere out like that. Not legally, at least. Let me say it that way. So, Did you have anything? I mean, you had anything on 111 or what you looking like?
Let's see. 111. No.
What do you think? I think last week we talked about the missiles painted white.
Yeah, we did.
That came up. And then now she kind of is talking about what it says, these white phallic symbols are now the super weapons of the Superman and the superior race. And what did I have for that? She provides a little contrast between black bullets and cannonballs to white missiles and super weapons. Because it say in contrast, dark colored weapons are the more recently developed missiles that are often painted white, but again shaped as gigantic white penises. You think there's some truth to that? Like when she's talking about, because so you have the gun and the bullets, and then you have the cannon and the cannonballs. She talked about that in the shape of the gun and the handle and the bullets, and also the color of it, where the gun usually is a darker color. The bullets are usually a darker color. The cannon is darker. The cannonballs are darker. But then the missile is like the super weapon, like over all of those guns, and they usually point those at non-white countries, and then they paint them white. So the symbolism behind that, like saying that that's the superior dick in a sense. What you think of that?
Right. No, I agree with that. I mean, I feel like, as I'm just thinking about like white people, specifically white males, as I see them out and about or at the gym or at the store or just I see them, I think about it. Everything they do, even in the officiating world, because I'm around a lot of white males in the officiating. It's like, and even with the white commissioners, the ones who actually are watching and evaluating us, a lot of the insight that they give into the white boys, they try to actually teach them how to look athletic and how to project strength and how to look strong, and like they try to teach them that shit. So it's like my point is like everything white people do, consciously and subconsciously, especially the males, they always trying to buy the big truck and, you know, get the girl with the big boobs and, you know what I'm saying, everything they do, the big belt buckle, you know what I'm saying, they gotta like be or portray themselves as like being in control, as having the most, as being the biggest, or you know what I'm saying, everything they do seems to like come from that like type of a persona, you know what I'm saying. So I don't really put none of that past them. I think all of that is intentional, especially when they're doing stuff like that. Like I want you to see that this is white, you know what I'm saying. So I definitely agree with that.
And my experience in life, people who do that, they're hiding something or they feel insecure, and that's how they project it. You know, not saying that those like all those people who do that are like that, but that's what I've noticed. You know, if when you got the loud person like that, the person who got the boast and brag and the big bravado, and big, like you say, big this, big that, shiny everything, gotta, you know, look at me. They usually are hiding something. And that something is some type of insecurity. That's what I think. No, so that could be the subconscious coming out. What's the quote? I've been trying to remember that quote from Hustle Man with Fraud them. You know what he said? That's your what he said?
Those repressed desires.
Okay.
Those repressed desires. Basically saying he's alluding to. Because, you know, remember the context of the episode. You know what I'm saying?
Talk to me.
Yeah, so Martin couldn't get no sleep because he had been dreaming about Pam. Like, why didn't he, like, waking up in the middle of the night? Like, why in the hell am I dreaming about Pam, specifically wanting to be with her sexually? You know what I'm saying? Why am I dreaming this about Pam? I hate Pam. I'm supposed to hate Pam. I don't like Pam. Why am I? So he stumbled into the kitchen, and then there go bruh man, you know, making him a sandwich, and he just in there. So this time Martin ain't even really blowed at it. He kind of like come at Hustle Man, like, bruh, like I don't know what's going on with me, man. This time he confiding in him. He venting to him like, bro, I don't know what's going on. So then that's when he laid it on him like, maybe, you know, you really want Pam. Those are your repressed desires. Maybe you really want her. That's why you dreaming that. So he was basically saying those things that you really, really want, by you trying to act like you don't want them so much, really, you really do want the shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's exactly kind of like a line. And here it's like white people, because they try to act like, you know, and try to put everything out there and everything in their power to portray as if they don't fool with black people. They hate black people. They don't like black people. They don't want nothing to do with black people. But in reality, it's probably just a repressed desire that really, no, bitch, y'all really want to fucking be with us and fuck with us the long way.
Bruh man deep on them. Straight up with the bob.
If you can catch it. Yeah.
Right. He always dropping little breadcrumbs. You got to catch it, though, every time. Like, straight up. All right, okay. Well, I mean, we already own it, so, you know, it's a sidebar. Fuck it. What if I went here with you? Martin was like, they played on the colorism and the coloration. So, because you talked about Pam and his repressed desires, And Pam to me was bad. Like, I think Pam was sexy. Now, I think that there was times where Gina was sexy, but Gina wasn't as sexy as Pam. Yet Pam was always the one that Martin would like joke on. Even though I know that's her character, she was the dark female in the sitcom. So all the jokes and all the negativity was directed towards the darker female, and then his prize was the lighter female. Now, what am I reaching, or what do you think of that right now?
I mean, I think when Martin came out, he was on Fox, right? And Martin used to be on Fox when it first came out.
He was, yeah.
And I mean, I've heard some stuff about Fox because Fox also had New York Undercover, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of remember hearing some stuff about Fox and how, they, controlled their narratives and, so forth and so on. So, I mean, now as I'm thinking back about the show, I wouldn't be surprised if that was an intentional ploy, because it was such a popular show. Maybe that was maybe actually pushed, and maybe Martin and them didn't even really know that. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be your girl, that's going to be Pam, this is what you're going to, and they just probably spun it like that. But subconsciously, if you was really, following these teachings right here, Dr. Francis, Cress, Welsing, and different people, you probably would easily pick it up like, oh, that's what they trying to do. I see what y'all doing now. You know what I'm saying? So I never thought about that, but that could actually very possibly be the case. We're subconsciously playing into the black people's psyche. You're supposed to love the lighter, the fair-skinned ones and hate the darker ones. That's just what you do. You joke and jive on her because, very rarely, as I'm thinking about on the show, very rarely did Pam kind of get spun into like a positive light. You know what I'm saying? She did here and there, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, that wasn't the common theme.
Right.
She was that, ain't it?
She was Gina's sidekick in every aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would it have worked? Would now reversing it? Would it have worked if Pam was his lady and Gina, the light-skinned woman, was the friend that he joked on all the time? Would it hit the same?
I think it probably would, because I think about the two talents. Both of them were very talented. They both could sing, they both could dance, they both could act. They both had range, you know what I'm saying, in terms of the things that they did on the show, if you just think about all the things that they did. And so I feel like when you think about Gina's character on Martin, she was very witty. She was she was kind of like an extension of him sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like they could have, I don't want to say that they're similar actresses, but I feel like on that show for what they did, I feel like they were, I don't think you can really just crown one of them as being like head and shoulders like better than the other one. I think if you just look at the body of work, I think they both were like neck and neck in terms of like what they brought to the show and what they actually were able to do on the show as far as their range as actresses. So I think they could have easily played the other person's role and been good at it, I think. And if in the beginning, if that's how we would have seen it, that's just what it would have been. You know what I'm saying? That's what we would have knew.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's possible. But I do think about that subconscious, and I don't know if it would have been received well as two dark-skinned people as a couple, happy, loving on television. Because let's really look at history and name me a show that's been on TV a long time that had two dark-skinned people that was in love. Now, you could say the Cosbys, but that I think that's a little tough because they yanked that shit off now. But anyways, I digress. I don't want to influence you. Can you think of, because you know TV, can you think of any shows where there are two people who are maybe Martin shade or Pam shade, and it's a man and a woman, not just the man, not just the woman. Well, one is light, one is no. Give me something, because I've been thinking about this, and I don't remember really any shows where it's two dark people or two brown people.
Let me see. You had Family Matters. There were two decent black people there.
Yeah, no, you're right. I take that one. Hell yeah, Family Matters. You're right. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Cause that still come on. I still catch Family Matters every now and then.
That's a good one.
Let me see what else you had.
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot of them. It wasn't like you had Good Times. Good Times was another one. But there was a lot of people kind of talking about Good Times, just kind of how it portrayed black people overall. It just wasn't a favorable look for us in a sense.
Not at all, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. They did just come to mind. Not a lot of them though. I don't think it's a whole lot of them.
Now that I think about it, I'm thinking about the Jeffersons too. The Jeffersons, yeah.
But even as we thinking about those, that was a specific era in time. All them shows was out like in the 70s, 80s. That was like kind of like a specific time though. It might have been even more prevalent back then, because that was also around the time of what they called the blaxploitation films and all that stuff, when black folks was really starting to kind of make moves in Hollywood and really kind of starting to get out there. I was actually just watching a good documentary. I need to go back and finish watching. It was talking about how just black people kind of integrated television in the beginning, and it kind of walked you through the full history of kind of when we started to break in and all the challenges that we faced and kind of where we kind of grown to today. It was actually pretty informative. A lot of good stuff was in there.
Okay. Well, we had in the book. We done deviated.
We on page 114. Or going that direction. I didn't have that on 111. 112 was a diagram, and then some of the stuff that's on. You got a few things on 113. But
I kind of had some in that little section.
Okay, I ain't having that right now. West, I did have a little quote, one of the little quotes, the phrases in here I should say highlighted, but I ain't have a whole lot right now.
Okay, go ahead.
So I actually had in the second paragraph when she says, "It is no accident that in this culture the act of ejaculating is often referred to as shooting off." Like I thought about that. I was like, that's something that you might not have actually said it like that, but in terms of, like, I've heard it referred to in those terms, something similar to that, you know what I'm saying? So I just, again, we talk about the words and the stuff that we say and the phrases that we use, and we just use them loosely, and we don't even really think about what we're actually saying. But, I mean, I thought she kind of connected some dots right there with that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on the next page when she get into some of the wording that she used on the next page.
Okay, well, I had this bracketed off. Tell me, do you think this is true? That's pretty much the question. Is this a true statement, or do you think this is true? So at the top of the page it reads, is it not apparent that this is the same side view of the penis and the testicles that are the basis for the form and structure of the gun? This same lateral view in abstract form of the penis and testicles was the symbol for the World Fair held in New York 1941 through 1942. And she's referring to the diagram on, 112, where you have the Washington Monument and the Jefferson Memorial view from a distance. And so you have what do they call it, one of them tall skyscraper buildings, like really high, and then you have this oval kind of shape building right next to it. So from like a helicopter view or like a top kind of view, it seems like from a distance it looks like a phallic symbol and the testicles. That's what she's saying. And I've also heard that, like, in D.C., in Washington, D.C., like when they designed that district, that little city area, it was all like intentional. Like nothing was like, oh, we're going to build this here, we're just going to build that there. We're going to know, like everything is symmetrical. It's all like in accordance with other major like buildings, within the capital area. So there may be something to that. I don't know, but I wanted to point that out. So, any thoughts on that before we move to the next page?
No, I did hear. Maybe I heard that Benjamin Banneker helped design Washington D.C. Maybe. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe I've heard that, but no. But I have heard about the Washington Monument kind of being. Maybe that was earlier in this book. She referenced that earlier in the book that phallic symbol of the Washington Monument. I don't know if she said that early in this book. I've heard that somewhere else before. But again, going back to what we was just talking about earlier, as far as just most of the stuff that the white people do is to project themselves as being inferior and having the biggest this and the biggest that. So, I mean, again, I wouldn't really put it past them. They got an opportunity to build the city. We're going to build it how we want to build it. We can color it how we want to color it, because all these monuments up there, they're white. I've been there. They're white. The ones that, at least the ones that she's talking about here, I've been to the Washington Monument. It's white. So, I mean, I ain't really, I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
Straight up, because they could have painted it any other color.
Yeah. No way they would paint it brown or black or, no. And you know what? Since we're talking about the D.C. area and the monuments, I think I talked to you about this. I was tight. I was like tight when they did the Martin Luther King monument. And I was tight for a simple reason that I'm not mad that they did one. I think he deserves it. His family deserves it. It's well overdue. If you are going to do a monument of a black person, yeah, why not Martin Luther King Jr.? However, I dislike the pose. Why is his arms folded? Like, there are no pictures that you can think of where you see him like that. It doesn't represent his message that they try to say his message is. Like, when you see someone and their arms are folded, what do you think? Let's just think about body language. Anybody, a child, your teacher, you, me, just your friend, when their arms are folded and they're standing in front of you, what does that give off? It doesn't.
Kind of shows what you getting at with that.
No, go ahead. I shut up. Go ahead, talk.
No, I'm just thinking. If I see somebody with their arms folded, they're probably somewhat, I'm gonna say, like they're almost like in a defeated like type state. They're like frustrated. They're disappointed. They're definitely not the aggressor in that sense, if you will. I don't know the exact word I'm trying to say, but it doesn't. They don't seem to be like a threat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, all of those words that you used, I mean, when you think of Martin Luther King, does that come to mind?
I mean, to a certain extent, with his non-violent movement, but I understand why they would probably do that. You know what I'm saying? Because playing on the subconscious mind, when you see that, it's not something that you're going to think that should evoke any type of fear in your mind or any of that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that's going to, I guess, like you was kind of alluding to, I kind of in agreement with you. I don't think it would properly depict what it could have depicted if, with a simple gesture like that, if his arms were in a different type of a position.
Yeah. It's so many poses that they could have chose. You know, like it's so many like iconic pictures that they have of Martin Luther King. Why choose one that of something that you've never seen him do in a picture? Maybe he's done it before, but we've never seen it in a picture that they promote, because it's a lot of images of him, and that's not one. And when I saw the statue, I'm like, what is this? My instant reaction was, what is this? This is what you give us? Man, come on, man, y'all tripping. This is a slap in the face. I feel like they insult my intelligence. They disrespect me at every turn that they get a chance to. That's how I feel. But I digress. I'm just saying, we talked about the monuments, and that made me think of that right there. That's what happened when I read this book, though. My mind be going everywhere. Mind all over the place.
Sure. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
I got a little bit of little overlap. This is kind of me just this is selfish, but I love the book recommendations. I read the references every time after all these essays, and she got this little part right here where it says the first chapter of Paul Trackman's book, The Gunfighters, is entitled The Deadly Brotherhood of the Gun. The gunfighters came into prominence following the close of the Civil War. Most of the gunfighters were Southerners who felt humiliated by the loss of their slaves and the war, and by the temporary appearance of power held by blacks who were their former black slaves. So I'm just like, man, yeah, shout out to the book recommendation, because now I read that little insert. I'm putting that in my little, arsenal. I'm going to go try to find that. I want to go read that. I want to understand where she's getting her references from, but also when I read that right there, that kind of piqued my little interest. I want to go a little deeper now. So, yeah, I appreciate that.
No, that's real. That's no different from you telling me about going to check out a certain artist or something. It's the same thing. Pick up, go check that out. She's definitely dropping them jewels in there. And
what else you got for me? Right, yeah.
So,
Cite your source.
Yeah. So moving over to, I'm moving to 114, because I ain't had nothing else on the previous page. So let me see here on 114. Okay, so I always kind of wondered this, but again, we just use words, and it's like, okay, we just using them and don't really even know where they're coming from or how they were created. But all right, so she says, during this same period, and I'm in the second paragraph, the gory sport of cockfighting was highly popular and important as a diversion among ranchers in the West. Thus, it is not surprising that the white male also referred to his penis as a cock, or that when a gun, the symbol of the white male phallus, is prepared for firing, it is first cocked. In this area of the world, in the white supremacy system, a detective who always carries a gun is a most important hero. The detective with his gun has been referred to as a dick. From this came the longtime comic strip hero detective Dick Tracy. The white male also has referred to his penis as a dick. So hearing all of that, I'm like, okay. So, I mean, we've heard those words, we've used those words, but then when you kind of put it all together like she just did, it's like it's all kind of connected. It's like it can't be by chance that all these same words used to kind of, I would say, describe the same thing that we getting back to, the gun or whatnot. So, I mean, what you think about that? Because she kind of went a few different places: cockfighting, to cock, to a gun being cocked, to calling the penis a dick, to Dick Tracy.
Yeah, man, that Dick Tracy really stood out to me. I'm gonna be real. I was like, wow, because when I was younger, I always had questions about why is his name Dick Tracy? I know they talk about Richard being dick, but that wasn't the case for that. So I just didn't understand it. Maybe I just, in context, I got it and never really asked any more questions. But until I read it on these pages, that connected the dots for me. That definitely connected the dots for me. And then also it went back to that first sentence, the first sentence of the whole essay with Anthony Sampson. And I'm gonna go ahead and just throw it out there. In his book, The Arms Bazaar, From Lebanon to Lockheed, informs us that the word weapon was until the 14th century synonymous with penis. Gun, penis. Go ahead. I think she just keep bringing it home. You know what I'm saying? That's really what she's doing right now, and she's making it relatable to things that we already use and know. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good to me. Break it down. I know you stopped a little short, but Dick and Jane, went up the hill and all that stuff early in the days, with all those nursery rhymes and stuff. That's embedded in you, so that's now in your subconscious, and you're not even understanding that. That's introduced to you very young in white American culture. So.
Yep, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that right there. Now, she also kind of mentions here, she says, these symbolic reinforcements continue until his death. Let me go back a little bit because you just had kind of mentioned that, so I'll just read that part. She said, it cannot be ignored that the first child all American children still meet in primary public school is a white male child named Dick, along with his sister Jane. In effect, at this early age, the white male child is being instructed to recognize that his identity is synonymous with penis or gun. These symbolic reinforcements continue until his death. That is why there is a continuing necessity for gun violence via television for American white children. So I thought that was kind of interesting right there because, we see gun violence all over the TV and movies and TV shows and all that stuff. It's like, with the video games, with the Fortnite and the Call of Duty and all the stuff, and the Grand Theft Auto, it's definitely like everywhere you look, it's there. And she's arguing that it's there because white children and kids, they need to continuously identify with that as being that thing, that symbol that we got to hold on to, that thing that kills off the black, not the black person, but more so the black stuff that creates the black people, in a sense. So I thought that was pretty interesting in terms of, how we want that gun violence to, and even in the music that the white people are allowing to be put on the radio and shit, it's glorifying the gun violence. So maybe that even got something to do with the whole system as well. Because again, we got to look at every damn aspect of this system. We got to.
Yeah, come on, man. That the music definitely plays a part in it. Because even if you don't think it does, you always constantly hearing it. Plays into your subconscious. People who don't respect themselves not really gonna, put their race first like that. No, because it don't equate. It don't go hand in hand. You got to have some type of self-respect, and the music is degrading. Like, you can't deny it. Like, especially the music that's in heavy rotation. I'm not saying all the hip hop is, because it's still good music out there. You just got to search for it. That's not what's being promoted. But the stuff that's just in heavy rotation, yeah, come on, man. Like, if that's all you're listening to, that's gonna play into the way you think to a certain extent. I'm not saying all the way, but it does play a certain way in how you view things. You can't deny that. So I agree. Okay, we just sliding through this chapter. Anything else you got? Because I really didn't have any more notes. After she kind of hit me with a few of those paragraphs earlier, I was like, I kind of get this. So, did you have anything else?
Let's see. Okay, I did want to touch on something right here that she mentioned on 115, which is one of the last pages, because she just talked about how the white male child, they need to kind of consistently be reminded that guns are a part of their culture, and they identify with that as a child. And she kind of spoke about the black child on 115. She said it is an accident. She said, is it an accident that in the U.S., white male children learn to use guns before they learn to use their penises, while black male children learn to use their penises before they learn to use guns? You agree with that?
That stood out to me. Like when I read that, I thought about that quote, and either that's true or that's not true. I would believe that because, like I say, I have to live my experience related to my life experience, and I definitely learned how to use my dick before I learned how to shoot a gun.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
like straight up. So now I can almost, and I don't know, maybe we need to talk to some white people and see, like, maybe even for them or people they know, like, what's the deal? Like, growing up, is it a consensus that very young guns are introduced to white people, or because this statement might not be true? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not around a lot of white people. I don't have a lot of white friends. I don't have white friends. You know, so I don't know, but it could be true. It might not be. I just know from my experience, I definitely learned how to use my dick before I knew about guns.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I got. Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting right there.
Did you think it was true though?
I think it is. I think it is true, man. I really do. Cause think about this. If we're talking about young, just say young white and black males growing up in society in this white supremacy, racism system and culture, growing up, white boys learning about using guns, black boys learning about using penises. Think about this now. The black people, and tell me what you think about this. The black community, we're teaching, because I can think about everything that we watch in movies in our culture. It does promote us to use the penis rather than the gun. It promotes that overall, you know, like your manhood and all that, from the things that are quote unquote positive coming out of our culture. That's what we learn as young black boys, right? So if you think about that, those two things don't go together. It's like, let me explain it this way. It's like, as the white boys are learning what they're learning and the black boys are learning what they're learning, it's inevitable that what they're both learning is going to be the very thing that's going to consistently keep the culture the way it is, in terms of the white people trying to genetically dominate and kill us off. Because if they're learning from such a young age about guns, and we're learning the very thing that they despise, so there's always going to be a subconscious and conscious hate towards the other person, specifically from the white side to the black side, because we're growing and we're learning the very thing that they despise and that they fear, most importantly, to their genetic survival. What you think about that?
That's heavy. That's heavy. There's some truth to that. I feel like that's true. But I had to just digest it. Like, man, that's heavy, yo. Shit.
I just thought about
that. Man, I don't know, man, because see, when you were saying all that, it made me think of the white friends. Like, I ain't trying to go too far back, but I do remember at one point in time when I was cool with white people. Like, I had white friends. I'm not saying I'm not cool with white people now, because I mean I have coworkers who white, and you know we cool. Ain't no problem at all. You know, but it's just in my personal life, I don't, and maybe it's by choice, but I don't really think so, because it's by proximity. When we were like in elementary and in middle school, and you know we didn't really have a grasp of the world and didn't really know. We weren't taught how to think a certain way yet. Everything was just innocent. We was all just friends. Yeah, we knew we was different, but it didn't matter. We was just all friends. And it seems like as the older I got, life just started taking me in a different direction and then taking them in a different direction. Not to say we weren't cool anymore. If we saw each other in certain environments or situations, we talked like nothing, but it's just like the closeness wasn't there. They got in their cliques, we got in our cliques, and it just wasn't no more like really like hanging with white people unless it was an activity that brought us together. That's when we became close, like a sport or something. But besides that, nah, that just wasn't what it was. They did their things and we did our things. So I don't know. You just talking about that just made me think of that. Like that's not even. Yeah, man. We don't have a choice in that sometimes. It just the way we're taught, the way we're taught to think, keeps the system going.
Mhm. I agree. I definitely agree with that. It's just doing exactly what it was designed to do. Keep us divided.
You got to do better, man. Damn. That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah. But we'll get better, man, because like I said, it's going to be people like us who's going to, continue to educate ourselves, and then we'll, try to inform as many people as we can. Even if it's just one other person outside of us, too, that grabs a hold of any of the information for the first time, I think that's all it takes to kind of continue to keep the spark going, and then, they'll, be enlightened, and then they'll pass it on. That's all we can do, and not try to treat it as almost like, urban legend in a sense. Now it becomes this type of stuff becomes part of your family tradition and history. Like, these are the stories that you tell your people, and these are the books you recommend. This is what they grow up learning and knowing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It takes some time, but I think we're on the right path doing what we can do. Starting with educating ourselves.
Right. And within that, now we're trying to plant these seeds, and hopefully they grow, flourish. We talked about that in the beginning. This book right here, this is a seed or a branch or whatever. It's a tree. I don't know. It's something that somebody need to hear. The ISIS papers, the keys to the colors. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Shout out to the Grandcestor, the ancestor, Ashe. I said all that just to tell you that when we pick up on chapter 9, the essay number 9, have you read the title?
Yeah, I did. Definitely.
The Motherfucker and the Original Motherfucker, June 1976.
Straight up. The year Sam Jackson was born.
Wow, yo. Man, what do you think that could be about? Jeez.
I have no idea, and on purpose, I'm not even gonna look at any other text.
Right,
I don't know where she's going with this. Yeah, I don't know where she's going with this. I'm gonna probably bright and early tomorrow, or sometime tomorrow. I'm gonna crack it open and I'm gonna dive in a couple of these pages. I usually like to try to get my reading done early in the week, not kind of cram later in the week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely dive into it. This chapter ain't really that long. I'm looking through the chapter 9. It's really not that long at all. Probably about the same length as the one we just read, maybe a little bit longer. But now it's good stuff. We kind of coming close to the middle of the book, but we still ain't quite there yet. It don't seem like it.
I know, man. She got some content in this thing, boy. She got this thing is jammed packed. With all kind of little tidbits. And yeah, we ain't even halfway through. That's interesting. We're not even halfway through. So that's pacing. All right. Well, hey, stay tuned, folks. Tune in next week. Same bat channel, same bat time. We'll be picking up on installment number 9. And I want to leave them with the tagline. So what did we say it was? Reading is way more important than watching television. Cut the Wi-Fi off. Read a book. Loose leaf. You hear that? Loose leaf. Get the pages turning. That's all I got for them. Which one to leave them with, Blaze?
No, like I said last time, man, go spend some time with your damn kids, man. Read to your kids, man. You got them straight up. My kids love when I read to them. Read to my kids.
Do you do the voices and the inflections and all that stuff? You get in character or nah? You ain't doing all that?
I do a lot of times. I do. It helps. They really love that. They enjoy it. And my kids, I feel like now, you know, my oldest daughter, she really enjoys and looks forward to hearing me read books and stories and stuff now, bedtime or during the day, or, you know what I'm saying, and all the books we buy, we're intentional about the books we buy and the characters that's inside of these books, you know what I'm saying, so we've been trying to really feed that a lot more as we kind of feel like we're going to be doing probably more homeschooling. We just kind of really been getting more into that, you know what I'm saying, which, hell, I'm teaching everybody else damn kids. I just been, you know, trying to build more stuff for my own damn kids. So, yeah, man, reading to your kids, man, it's a good thing. Kids really do like that shit, man. Plus, it helps them be able to develop their speech when they can hear you articulate certain words and stuff, you know what I'm saying? It helps with their language acquisition. As in research that I've done, it helps kids, you know what I'm saying, when you read to them.
Oh, yeah. I used to love that, man, when my mom would read to me. I used to love that, man. That was like one of my favorites. But then I was milking it because as I got older, I just wanted her to read. And she was like, nope, you got to read your own stories. You got to start reading your own stories. I'm like, oh, that hurt. Come on, man. Read, man. Let me hear you read. That was cool. You know? She cut me off. But you was talking about the children's like books and stuff. Have you heard of this black artist? Her name is Vashti. I don't know her full name, but I know her first name is Vashti, and she makes these. She does all these illustrations, and she has great stories in the books, but it's like her pictures are the ones that really sell the book. And she does a lot of black history. She does a lot of things for girls, you know, girls of color. So I didn't know if you ever heard of that what I'm talking about at all.
No, I ain't never heard. My wife maybe have, but I've never heard of that.
Okay. All right.
Have to go look into that.
Yeah. I'm going to send you a little link then. I'll send you a link. Then tell me if you're interested in it or not. All right.
I appreciate it.
All right, well, man, let's get up out of here, man. You know, burning the midnight oil tonight. Got a long day tomorrow.
For sure. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll do this again.
All right, man. Take it easy. We'll catch up soon, brother.
All right, you too. Later on.
All right.